is saying that I have this entire time scouting this upcoming draft and the quarterbacks and everybody in it, and when I've been asked, who do you like better, Mariota or Winston, who would you rather have, who would you draft, my answer's always been neither. I would, if I was a quarterback, if I was an NFL team in need of a new starting quarterback, I would not be looking to draft Winston or Mariota. I felt that way before this, the whole time. This didn't change me to feel that way. But for me, as someone who felt that way to begin with, it definitely helps me reaffirm my stance on both of those guys. Because here's where I'm coming from on this. If I'm in a different pair of shoes, let's say a GM of the Buccaneers, or the Tennessee Titans, or the New York Jets, or the Cleveland Browns, or any of these other teams in the NFL that are looking to take one of these two quarterbacks in the first round, when you take a quarterback in the first round of the draft, you are handing him the keys to your kingdom. The keys to your car. He's driving, okay? Now, if I've got a car that I'm going to give somebody the keys to drive for me, and it's a multi-billion-dollar car, as most NFL organizations, franchises, teams are, I need to feel like my car means as much to the guy driving it as it does to me. Now, I'm not saying that Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota are going to be bad professionals or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I don't know that. But their choice in regards to not attending the draft, to me, suggests, it doesn't prove, but it suggests that neither one of these guys, at least not right now in their lives and who they are anyway, neither one of these guys are going to commit 100% of themselves and everything they do and work for to the good of the team. That's not to say they won't work extremely hard. I'm sure they'll bust their butts. But it suggests that they're not going to be willing to go the extra mile, do all the little stuff, make sacrifices. This is a very small sacrifice that they're being asked to make. Sacrifice not having a couple of your family members or friends or loved ones at your side when your name is called to be hired as an NFL employee for an NFL team in the NFL draft. Yeah, that's not the greatest. It's less than ideal. But it's a very small sacrifice. Like I said, if you're a loved one, a family member, something like that, you go out for a super nice meal the next night or whatever. You have a Sunday fiesta where you invite everybody over and you hang out in the backyard and you talk and you laugh and you have fun and you spend quality time together. It's not that big of a sacrifice. And yet, you've got these two high-profile quarterbacks, draft prospects, saying that when it comes to the biggest moment of their life thus far, they'd rather watch it on TV with their loved one sitting next to them than actually be there, present, in the moment, with maybe a few less loved ones by their side. And then, I mean, geez, the fact that they're quarterbacks makes it that much worse, too. If they were different positions, if they were wide receivers or something like that, first off, if they were wide receivers, everybody would be ripping them apart right now, going, oh, this diva wide receiver, diva this, diva that. Nobody's doing that with these guys because they're quarterbacks. They're leaders, supposedly, and everybody's just trying to play the nice, loving family member card. Like I said, it's a bunch of BS. It's a very small sacrifice to make. Now, I was trying to think earlier when I was getting enraged about this, I was trying to think of a comparison in some other situation in life that would be similar to it. And I came up with a few that were okay, but not quite as close as I'd like it to be. But then I think I came up with one that's pretty darn close, okay? Here's my analogy for if someone else in life, in a different career path in life, were to try to choose to do basically the exact same thing that Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston are trying to do. And here's what I came up with. Okay. A lawyer being promoted to partner in his firm. Okay. It's a profession. A lawyer is a job, just like a football player is a job. A lawyer works for a law firm a lot of the time, just like the player works for the team. Okay? Now, every lawyer works their butt off. It's their dream. It's making it to the big time to be named to partner, and they usually have a nice little shindig ceremony celebration where they announce it and make it official and have a dinner and, all that kind of stuff usually. Speeches, what have you. Not all that unsimilar from a college football player being hired by an NFL team and being announced as one of their new faces of their franchise, especially if you're talking about a first-round top draft pick like we are here in this case with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Now, can you imagine? Just try to imagine this. Can you imagine if a lawyer getting named to partner at his firm, when told, we're going to name you, son, you've been working for us for the past how many years, and you've been great, and we're naming you to partner. We're going to have the announcement and make it official on Saturday night in New York City, and all of a sudden the lawyer goes, whoa, that's great, awesome, I totally accept, but I'm not going to be there. That location doesn't really work for me. See my buddy Bob or my sister or whoever, someone that I care about, I really want to share this moment because it's only going to happen once. So I really want to share this moment with them, and they can't make that. So I'm just going to have a party at my house where, all those people can be with me at the time it happens. So maybe we could just have a Skype chat window open or something then, and when you announce it, you can put my Skype window up on a screen, and I'll give a little speech via Skype, and then and then I'll be out and be sitting on my couch some more while you guys continue having your ceremony for me and about me and the partnership and the firm in my honor without me. Could you imagine? That's not that far of a stretch. I know it's not exact. Like I said, it was just the best one I could come up with. I know it's not exact, but that is not that far of a stretch from what Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota are doing. Now, the final piece on this I want to touch on before I move on to other things is just the risk that they're taking in making this decision and announcing this decision. Like I said, if I'm handing over the keys to my $1 billion car to someone to drive it for me, I want to be able to trust that person like they care as much about it as I do. If Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston don't care enough about their NFL futures and their job as a quarterback, as the leader of the team, as the guy who needs to be the first one at the practice facility and the last one to leave every day, if they can't show up for the draft, I'm sorry, but I'm going to think twice about drafting them, even if I was thinking about drafting them now. What level of commitment and dedication can I count on from these guys if they're not willing to make this one little sacrifice? What other little sacrifices aren't they going to be able to make? So I'm very curious to see if it affects either or both of their draft stocks. I highly doubt it will affect Jameis Winston's. Pretty sure the Buccaneers will take him at number one no matter what, unless something really crazy were to happen, like if he were to get arrested sometime here before the draft or something like that. That'd be the only way, I think. But could Mariota possibly slip outside of the top 10, where if he's there, he's already into play at 2, and he's probably for sure going to be gone at either 5 or 6 if he doesn't go at 2. Could this type of attitude and acting in self-interest as opposed to professional interest cause a change in where Mariota is drafted. I'm not saying I think it will, but if it were me making the choice for one of these teams, it would. I would definitely think twice and 3 times and 4 times before taking him, or Winston for that matter, because I don't like this at all if I'm an NFL owner. But I'm not an NFL owner. I'm just a guy who loves sports, happens to have a radio show where I get to talk about it every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on WNLMradio.com. That's Northern Lights Radio. All right, you're listening to Scotty Ball here on Balls Deep Sports Talk. And that's going to do it for the Balls on Fire segment this week. All right, let's squeeze in the little bit we got left for NFL news, and then we'll move on to other stuff. A quick player signing that happened a couple weeks ago, but when I saw it this last week, wasn't sure if I had noted it or not. But Dwayne Bowe, wide receiver formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, went to the Cleveland Browns. So the Cleveland Browns answered all of their wide receiver needs in free agency with Dwayne Bowe and Brian Hartline. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, I almost made it through that. Dang it. Anyway, in other Cleveland Browns news, Johnny Manziel still in rehab, far as I know. If he's not out by the draft, I would definitely look for them to draft a quarterback within one of the first 3 rounds. However, if he is out and cleared, that could completely wipe that off of their high needs or high priority list on their draft board. So that's definitely something they need to know going forward as soon as possible. But keep an eye out on that. I'm sure when he's out, if he ever gets out of rehab, it'll be all over the place for news, so you won't have to rely on me to find out. But I'll definitely talk about it when it happens, if it happens. Again, the upcoming NFL draft. First round starts April 30th, Thursday night. That is 4 weeks from tomorrow. It is being held in Chicago, and I can't wait. We will have a huge NFL draft preview the night before the draft, where you will get to hear my mock draft, my expert analysis picks, or at least attempt at expert analysis, I should say. So, looking real forward to that. Speaking of draft picks, it was decided by the NFL this last week that the Falcons will lose a 5th-round draft pick in next year's draft for filtering in artificial crowd noise at their home games over the last 2 seasons. I don't really think that's that big of a deal, but I think a 5th-round pick is right. I mean, you have to get punished. You are using technology to try and gain a competitive advantage over your opponents, so you do need to be punished, and I think a 5th-round pick is about right. Not too strong, but not too weak. Seems about right to me. And, Browns again. There was another big punishment, well, not big punishment, but another punishment handed out for wrongdoings during last NFL season. The Cleveland Browns GM will be suspended for 4 games for texting illegally on the sidelines or to the sidelines during games last year, and he also got fined, or the team got fined, can't remember which one, somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000 in that area. But I guess the 2 things that jump out on that one for me would be again the use of technology to try and gain competitive advantage. You can't allow that. I mean, any cheating is bad, but when you're using technology to accomplish it, that's definitely something you have to squash, especially this day and age. And then the other thing in that one is just, how do you suspend a GM? Like, you can't GM for 4 weeks. It's quite different than you can't put on pads and throw the football for 4 weeks, or you can't suit up and block for 4 weeks. You know, it's a big difference. You can't general manage for 4 weeks. Like, okay, I'll just get most of my general managing duties done then before that first week starts, and hopefully we'll be good through 4 weeks, and then I can come back and general manage some more. Like, I don't know. I just think that's funny. But all right, 2 more football tidbits.